Good evening, everyone. My name is Adya Bennur. I am from Bangalore and I study in 4th grade in Greenfield Public School and I'm 9 years old. So, how is the life of a 9-year-old? The first thing I would like to tell you is that a 9-year-old does not know what a PowerPoint presentation is. So, a big thank you to the organizers for having me here. Like most of the girls, I have a fun life. I enjoy dancing. I have a fur ball of a cat at home. His name is Simba. He's like my little brother and I love him. I also enjoy playing with dolls and I also enjoy designing clothes for them. And I play tennis. And then there's a different side to this 9-year-old. This photo, it was taken at around 5:30 in the morning. It was the summit night of Mount Kilimanjaro. We were on our final push after trekking for 7 long days. We were at around 19,000 feet altitude and the temperature was minus 20 degrees Celsius. We had been trekking for the last 4 to 5 hours since midnight. I was struggling. It was not because of the steep incline of the mountain or the high altitude. It was because of the cold. I had never experienced such low temperatures. I had almost given up. I wanted to go home, hug my mother and feel better. I sat on a rock and cried for an hour, saying I can't go any further. But I think the desire to make it to the summit helped me find the last bit of motivation in me. That, along with my father's encouraging words, I was able to pick myself up and take the next step, and another step, and another. And after a few tens of thousands of such steps, I was able to reach the roof of Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro. I trekked for a total of 17 and a half hours that day, starting at 1 in the morning and finishing at 6:30 in the evening. A long but fulfilling day. I proudly held the Indian flag at the summit. The guides and me sang a song which I was teaching them for the last 6 days. Let's rewind the clock a bit. I grew up seeing my father summit mountains such as Everest Base Camp, Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, and Elbrus in Russia. When I was 7 years old, my father asked me if I was interested to trekking to Everest Base Camp. I was very excited, jumped up and said yes. Thanks to my tennis, I had good fitness levels. For the preparation, we did a few short treks around Bangalore, some staircase climbing and long walk carrying very heavy backpacks. With just 1 month's preparation, I was ready for Everest Base Camp. Everest Base Camp was a lot of fun. The trek is very beautiful with many waterfalls. I also made a few friends along the way, some dogs and some people. Everest Base Camp is on the Khumbu Glacier, where some of the world's tallest mountains are present, such as Mount Everest and Lhotse. Everest Base Camp is at 17,598 feet altitude. I would sing songs, play music and quizzes with my father and the guide during the trek. After 11 days of trekking, I made it to Everest Base Camp. At the summit, I sang my favorite song from the movie Moana. After I came back from Everest Base Camp, I did not want to go to any more mountains. When I was in the mountains, I missed home. When I was on the mountains. But after a few months, I wanted to go back. So our next stop was Mount Kilimanjaro. Mount Kilimanjaro is the tallest mountain in the African continent. It is located in a country called Tanzania. Mount Kilimanjaro is a dormant volcano. It stands at 19,340 feet. And the summit is called Uhuru Peak. To prepare for this challenging trek, I had to train a lot more compared to my preparation for Everest Base Camp. As part of my preparation, I climbed 100 floors every day, and I also used to do a lot of running. Of course, my tennis also played a big role uh, in for my fitness. Apart from the summit night, which I talked to you about, there were some days where some challenging days where I had to trek for over 11 to 12 hours. One of the exciting things on the trek was climbing the Barranco Wall. Barranco Wall is a 843 feet tall wall with very narrow and rocky paths. We have to use both our hands and legs to climb this wall. This is called scrambling. That has been my journey so far. I climbed Everest Base Camp and Mount Kilimanjaro because I believe we can all do more than we think we can. I pushed myself to reach higher goals. And every day I took one step at a time. I took tens of thousands of such steps and I reached the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. So I request each one of you to take the first step to reach your own Mount Kilimanjaro. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Adya. So she is all set to answer any questions. Any questions in the house for this little one? Okay, Aishwarya ma'am, yes.
The question from my husband is that whether you were scared. The question from me is when you remembered your mother, then how did you console yourself? And how did you motivate yourself to go further?
My father also, he told me a lot of things just to ignore that. Like when you summit the mountain, we just take a chopper, helicopter, and we can come back down. That was like really like a happiness for me. So I'm like, hooray, okay, we got this, we can continue.
Any more questions? Yes, there are questions, yeah.
And were you scared? And your mother, like, how did he convince you that you were remembering your mother? So, how did he convince you that you will get to her in the quickest fashion possible?
He just told me you can take a helicopter and go home because I was not in a very good state of mind, so I just believed it and continued.
Tell me, how does it help you at school? Does it help you in doing your homework? Does climbing a mountain help you in doing your homework?
No, it doesn't.
What does it help you with?
It helps me in my fitness levels. I already have very good fitness levels, but they improve when I climb the mountains. What? I used to do yoga. I used to do when I was 5.
What's next?
I'm planning on climbing Mount Elbrus in Russia in March, I think.
Is your mom coming along this time?
No.
She will remain at the base. Are you scared more of mom or dad? Or you're not scared of anyone?
No, this is a very good question.
I asked your dad, how does your mom allow you to go there?
Who am I most scared of?
Yes, who are you most scared of?
My father.
What was the feeling you had when you climbed up Mount Kilimanjaro? What was your thought process? How did you feel after achieving such a feat?
I felt like I cannot go any higher than this. I felt like I had achieved something really big.
So Adya,
Congratulations.
one question from me. 3 things you really want to tell everyone in your age group. 3 things.
About what?
About being the way you are. I mean, you are a motivation for a lot of people. At your age, you have climbed such heights. So 3 things you would like to tell everyone.
About the trek.
About the trek, about your experience, about how you want your classmates to be. What are those three things? Like, for example, fitness is one. Be fit, you can achieve your dreams. Be determined, you can achieve your dreams. Be passionate, you can achieve your dreams. So, what are those three things?
Like, if you have a will, there's always a way to do something, and you should push yourself like to reach higher goals no matter how hard it is. I thought of the happiest thought when I reached the summit. That last bit of motivation in me, I found it and I used it. I thought of the summit, I thought of reaching there, having that happiness, all those things, and I'm like, let's do it.
Great. So, it's self motivation and happiness of achieving a dream. Great, great. So, I call upon stage Miss Tanushri Banerjee from CII. Are you here in the house? Okay. Well, Miss Aishwarya Pandit, Director ITV Network and Associate Professor at Jindal Global Law School, to kindly felicitate Adya.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.